Hello and welcome to M3 Live. My name is Malcolm Travers. Male Media Mind is a grassroots organization dedicated to uplifting and unifying our community through dialogue, insight, creativity, and knowledge. And every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I invite my friends to help me break down topics that can use extra perspective and experience, usually around relationships, communication, mental health, spirituality. As we discuss these topics, please leave us your comments, give us your insights as we discuss. We'll get to them as soon as we can. Let me introduce you to the panel today. We got the talented Mr. Drayton joining us from Atlanta. What's going on?
The sun back there. Mecca like a high, Mecca honey ho. What's going on?
He is also the host of the Saturday Sit Down at 1 p.m.
Yes.
We will see if that's happening or not.
It's happening. Y'all already gave me that. No, I didn't get it. Because I'll be in Tijuana. So I think I'm going to do myself a favor and just do the weekly rewind.
Okay.
So, yes.
Yes, glad to have you. Of course, we also have the Thick Night. You also stream Thick Night Gaming and also the host of the Blurred Council every Sunday at 5 p.m. Let me find the placard here, where you talk all things games, movies, TV, nerd stuff.
And he's and I found out, Malcolm, he's also the object of many men's fantasy.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yes, apparently.
Right.
I mean, as you have explained several times, that apparently I am some walking fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel good just to know you.
Yeah, it is also a pleasure to have you always.
Thank you.
And also we have the host of the Swag Suite from the bunker, 60 feet below the sea with a sewing machine and a cat.
What is
it's familiar.
Oh yeah, the familiar.
I love that. He's a little sunshine, little miracle,
little magic,
little magic.
Mr. Anti-Manners himself.
Yes.
Me? Anti-manners?
No. Little magic. It's little magic.
Yeah. Yeah. The yes. So I have a few topics for you as usual. I try to get through about 5, but I might need your help with some of these. I'm finishing up. I've been trying to do a book club, so this is the end of April. We're going to end off talking about the Let Them theory. I did like just small segments of it. I'm going to talk about one particular chapter of this book, and I'm going to introduce the next book for next month. But I want to start off with some like the concept of spiritual bypassing. A couple weeks ago, I had a topic about like beliefs, weird beliefs, and like whether or not beliefs are useful or not is really the key to determining like, whether or not you should, question it or not. Because I really feel like whether something is true or not, sometimes, especially when it comes to like spiritual beliefs, is kind of pointless. I mean, they're all based on faith by definition. They're not going to be proven or disproven. But a good question is whether or not they're useful or not. And one way of thinking about that is with this concept known as spiritual bypassing. Does your spiritual practice make you a better person, or are you just kind of, ignoring your problems? Let's play this right.
So let's talk about something a lot of people avoid in the spiritual community: spiritual bypassing. That's when we use spiritual language practice to avoid doing the hard, messy, emotional work. It sounds like this: everything happens for a reason instead of holding space for real pain. Love and light instead of accountability. I'm protecting my peace, when really you're avoiding uncomfortable conversation. Here's the truth. You cannot meditate your way out of trauma you are refusing to face. You can't stage your house and ignore the patterns it's still living in you. You can burn all the sage in the world, but if your ego is still leading, that's not growth. That's toxic spirituality. Authentic spiritual growth, it looks like shadow work. It looks like apologizing. It looks like crying on your bedroom floor and choosing to rise anyway. It looks like forgiveness because it's not for them, it's for you. It's choosing love, not because it's easy, but because it's healing. If your spirituality doesn't make you kinder, less critical, more self-aware, more open-hearted, and then it might not be spirituality. It might be a performance. And here's the thing, no shame. We've all been there. This is about accountability, not shame. We evolve when we choose honesty over image. My challenge for you this week, ask yourself, where am I using spiritual language to avoid emotional honesty?
Now, who is she?
She's just someone on TikTok that I found.
Do we have any? Does she have any credentials? Because I'm gonna push back on everything that she said.
No.
And how I'm going. Okay, so how I'm going to push back is that is rich. That because that is some people's coping mechanism. Everything.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is that there's no true thing outside of any sort of context, right? There are certain contexts in which, spiritual bypassing is great. I told you about one of the examples, like my grandmother, whenever she was in, like serious stress or something was really bothering her, would just start singing Negro spirituals, and it was just a way of centering herself in that moment. But I'm thinking, after a crisis has passed, are you still ignoring issues? That's what
I was
I'm
about to say that.
Yeah, there is no truth that's true in every context. I mean, that's the thing. We all.
No, I agree, but it's the same thing as when one is in pain. We have had like white pain that was just so intense that you're white knuckling it, you're just sweating.
Exactly.
In my mind, it's the same thing. So you kind of white knuckle through whatever
absolutely.
And then so it depends on your spirituality and your spiritual training, if you will, how you and that may and God's, like everything is God's will, may be somebody's spiritual forte. Now that doesn't mean they don't go home and think about what has happened or try to work through what has happened. That's the part that I can't get with, like saying that those things are spiritual bypassing or avoidance or something.
No, I don't think they're saying that they are. It's kind of like asking yourself, are you avoiding?
Well, she just gave an example, so I'm just saying. So she put the list. But I mean, so if you have those questions for yourself, I think the second question or the leading follow-up question should be, am I going back to deal with whatever that happened? You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to run around thinking, oh, I cannot curb this thing, or this is not the way that I can deal with it. It's like death. It's not something that we necessarily understand, but it's a passing that we all have to go through. And there's that thing that, okay, so we sit here and dwell on it, or do we answer the question of death, but everybody has to go through it?
And no, I agree, because there are aspects, thinking about death, for instance, there are people who are absolutely terrified of death. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of the afterlife and the idea of the spirit that lingers beyond death is helpful for them to get through their day.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, the question isn't whether or not your beliefs are true, it's whether or not they're useful. Does this help you get through the day? Yeah.
Well, I think her whole platform of what she was saying is very subjective, and that's all I'm saying. I think
that's what by definition it's not going to be.
Well, yeah, and my opinion, long story short, is if it works for you, do it. I think that's very judgmental what she was saying. Thank you.
All right. So here are some questions, like after, and that's what I'm saying. Like of course, it is one of the difficulties of talking about spirituality in general is that people do feel judged when you discuss it. But I think it is useful to challenge your beliefs. Are they still serving you? Or is it just something that you have adopted from someone? These are just some questions that came up from, discussion about this. Spiritual bypassing is just the idea that, using spiritual talk to avoid deeper inner work. Shadow work is just dealing with the aspects of yourself which you don't want to confront. This is, a very positive spiritual practice, which is difficult to do because by definition, you're avoiding your shadow. Stress relief. I think obviously community, those are also things that come from spiritual practices. I don't know. So I guess my question, to you is, how have you evolved in your spiritual practice over time? Like, have you, I don't know, adopted new practices that have helped you?
Yeah, I think that I'm blessed that the Lord lets me see another year each year, and I think you learn what not to do. You know what I mean? Like the term faith without action is dead. I mean, that's the whole truth. We can sit here and pray or whatever your spiritual practice is, meditation, and but if you don't take action, if you don't take the action that's based on the thing that you're worried about. So like I was telling a friend of mine, she's worried about money. Honey, are you applying for a new job? That's the answer.
Yeah.
That's the faith. That's the having faith that God will send you more money. But the action is you're going to assertively look for this thing. And so,
Yeah.
And we often talk about dating. So it's like, oh God, send me a good man. Are you at going to those places where those
Right.
good be at? I had to get real black with it.
Yeah.
Are you doing, or are you becoming the person that you want to attract?
Right.
Are you doing, and I think, I always, I guess thinking out, we're both from Virginia, so it's all black people in Virginia. We were raised alike. It's just like we grew up on Easter. There was Easter Monday, you know what I mean? That was Easter egg, and then church. I didn't convert to Catholicism until I was older, till I was about 34, 35, whatever it was. But growing up in the Pentecostal and or the black church, that's the thing that you're taught. Put it to the side if you don't understand. Put it to the side. Let God be your guide. Don't, and that's the whole thing about mental illness in the church. Oh no! No. Take it to King Jesus. Well, King Jesus made a therapist. You know what I mean? God knows he made because that man is a saint.
Yeah.
And I question people that kind of leave it there. That's the problem I have if you're just going to leave it there, or even if it just stops there. Those things are helpful coping mechanisms for sure, but if you just stop it there, or that is just your go-to, I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna leave it to King Jesus. Ain't what the black folks say. Swag, Lord,
I'm gonna give it to God.
Whatever they say. Yeah, it's like JJ Fad. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just like, okay, but when are you going to? And then there's the part about
when are you going to do the work?
Right, and then they like, okay, Lord Jesus, oh man, Jesus gonna take this fat off my belly. Yeah, so will a gym. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
sometimes, you know what? Sometimes Greg is my spiritual animal. He really is. That's why that's why I like Greg, because sometimes he gets what I say. Just like, and when I made this post, somebody said you being wrong. I said no, I'm not. I'm being real, because I said when people say, "Oh, this is the body the summer's gonna get," yeah, the same body the winter and the fall got too. So we weren't expecting anything different.
Right, we got just what you gave us all season.
All the seasons.
And you ain't did nothing but pulled up the Whataburger and got some fries.
Exactly. And sat on the couch. That's all you did.
Right. And then like,
what are you talking?
And just and the other thing is, Mark, I love the fact when people are like, well, everything, the person's died, they got the leg chopped off from diabetes, right? I love this one for black people. Listen to me. Let me tell you something. You can take your insulin. You better take goddamn metformin. You know what I'm saying? God, it won't your time. Well, everything happens in God. That was your lack of accountability to your health. You didn't sat around, they took a toll. And the toll won't enough. They took the big toe, the little toe. I'm speaking from personal experience. It happened to my
Yeah, that's definitely some spiritual bypassing.
But they took my uncle the toes, and then Lord, my man, every time they took a toe, at a different time, my mom run to the hospital. Lord, they didn't took Kurt pinky toe. Lord, they didn't took Kurt big toe. And then finally, I got the worst ass whooping of my life because I was like, "Now is he gonna stop eating Hostess honey bun? Because now he's for a nub swag. He all up to the hip. He ain't got nothing but a nub. You know what I mean? The sugar has then took his whole leg, foot, and all. Now this man, rest in peace. He ate himself. Let me tell you something. I go to the doctor tell me I got sugar. As much as I love me a whole Hostess honey bun, I like on this side of the realm as long as I can. So things I'm going to say, the prayer would be, God, help me control my love of sweets. Because I will eat cookies until my fucking face is numb. I know my sugar. I ain't even got that. Remember when the pandemic was here, Malcolm, and I ate those blonde Oreos like nobody.
You talking about those Goyas?
The gold Oreos.
Oh, the golden Oreo. Yeah, okay.
I think I had them all under the bed. Oh my God. And so
I hate it when they have them on sale because I do buy them.
Yeah, I tell you. And I went to the doctor and I was like, Greg, how did you become pre-diabetic? Bitch, it's them Oreos. That's what it was. She was like, well, put them down. I was like, I ain't ready. She was like, they're going to take that toe. You know? And when she said it like she didn't even know the story of my Uncle Kurt. But when she said, yeah, they're going to take that motherfucking toe. Yeah, all right. Oreos, bye. So I think, long story short, is I think that we, it's so, and I think that comes from slavery, that we just turn it over, and Black people are the kings and queens of moving on. We gonna give it to King Jesus and move on past it, and then next thing you know, we like Erykah Badu at the bus stop. We got too many bags. We got too many bags.
Yeah, at some point they gotta unpack it and actually.
We gotta get rid. We gotta get rid of the. And this is what I call one of the generational curses of how Black people eat. And we understand where it comes from, but we gotta do better. We got
it does, and so it takes. I fancy myself a good cook, but I cook like somebody's grandma. So I stay my ass away from the stove because I cook with lard. I mean, just shit that's gonna kill you. I mean, like I was like, Greg, you gotta. So I'm ready to make my triumph and return to the kitchen. So I told myself, Greg, you gotta search for healthier recipes. And they may not be as delicious as butter in your macaroni and cheese, but you don't want to kill your friends and family. You love them.
Yes.
So you don't want to commit murder through food, Greg. I mean, and that's how you have to look at it. You know what I mean? Like if you're serving somebody, like I love cabbage, I love fatback. You know what fatback is. Thick. You grew up in Virginia. My mother used to fry crackling in the morning with eggs, and I used to go to school as a 12-year-old, blood pressure high like I was 60 years old.
Oh, God.
Read, Malcolm, you dizzy. You in gym class like this. You don't know what the fuck is happening. Nigga,
the funny thing is, like in that, I don't think there's any way to, really dampen the desire for the foods that make you feel comfortable and whole, especially if you're dealing with mental health issues on top of the fact that you're trying to lose weight, because we use food to comfort ourselves. The truth is, for me, and this is just something, you got to find something healthy that is also a comfort food. Like there has to be something else that moves into space, and it can't be, something that happens overnight.
It's not, and I'm gonna tell you that. Do not fool yourself, ladies and gentlemen. This thing that we're talking about is gonna wake up. Ta-da! So my secret sauce is gone because I love sugar. So and it's just I need to get rid of that taste. So it's sugar free. On my way to Swag this weekend, I'm gonna buy me a tub of sugar free gum.
Yeah, I do like the water additives. It works pretty well too. Like because
you got to, but then I have a therapist. So, and I'm telling you all my business on the why, but just today, I have decided I need a psychiatrist. And and there's a difference. One is a medical doctor that can give out medication. And the reason I need one, America, is because I am still afraid of the blood pressure cuff. I still freak out when I go to the doctor, and my doctor just as nice and sweet and kind as he want to be. He's like, "Hey, Greg, you mind if I take your blood pressure?" I'm like, "Yes, I mind. Nigga, I'm over here sweating and shit. I'm over here about to have a goddamn meltdown." And and he was like, "Well, Greg, I have to prescribe your blood pressure medicine. I need to take your blood pressure." Yeah. And I'm like, "Doctor, no, not today, because I'm sweating." Because I had an incident at that doctor's office that denoted when they were taking, I can tell the story too. So my brother died back in 4 years ago, and the day he died, I had a doctor's appointment. Now I'm like, "Oh, I'm okay. Fuck it. It's okay. I'm going on to the doctor." No, I'm not okay. I pulled up, and my head started spinning immediately when I opened the door. I was like, "Shit!" And so my doctor was like, "You want to go home? Because Greg, you don't look well. You want to go to the hospital because you don't look even." Every time, as time went on, and so she snuck up and she took my blood pressure. She was like, "Oh my God, you're going to have a stroke." And so every time I go to the doctor, it's then that same building. My mind is telling me, "Bitch, you're going to have a stroke. You're going to lose your life. So you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your life." Right. And so, that's the thing that makes me afraid. But you have to go to the doctor. You have to get this thing done.
Yeah.
When he gets the manual blood pressure machine, he kind of sneaks up behind me like a big game hunter, and he just put it on me. And it's a whole elaborate thing, right? And he'll just stand behind me. He's like, "Greg, I know it's going to be high because your heart is beating." He was like, "I'm sorry, man. I'm doing this out of love. I promise you." So today I have decided that I'm going to go to a psychiatrist to talk about this one thing I'm holding on to.
That is good. Yeah. And the irony is, like, going to that idea of spiritual practices, whatever it may be, that is something that would really help as well. I don't know which ones you do, but
way past that. I've been trying. No. So
I'm just saying whatever it is, because there is like a point at which whatever your psychiatrist tells you to do is going to be some homework, right?
It is.
Yeah, he's going to ask you to do some things, and at some point you're going to have to do them. And so whatever it is in your mind, in your tool set, you can call it spiritual, you can call it mental health, whatever, you got to get yourself to do it.
So I'm going to tell you, my therapist that I see now that's not a medical doctor, we have done exposure therapy. I've bought blood pressure machines and conveniently lost them. I mean, I've done. I went to my priest. I went to the doctor with different people that are trying to make me comfortable. I drug swag to the doctor one day. He lived all the way in another area.
Facts.
It did not work. Next I'm gonna try thick next. I just feel like, "Are you free Tuesday after Dr. So now I went to my priest. I try to meditate. I've even taken like muscle relaxers. I mean, this, it's that core memory of my brother dying on that day, and I had a full meltdown. So there is, I think what she's saying in the video, and just to not to belabor the point, but I think you have to do work after you say, "I'm gonna turn it over to God." Everything happens for me. Those things, because so God does everything for a reason, does not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, for me, it's like everything happens for a reason. Now what?
Right.
Because you still got to move forward.
What I was about to say. So it's God does everything for a reason, but pain and death and mourning and suffrage still hurts.
It's the reasons that you might not be able to accept.
And I'm telling you what,
everything.
I tell people all the time, like, what kind of universe do we live in? What kind of God do we serve that will allow us to choose Donald Trump? Like, we as a world, and we're in a heap and shit of trouble. And as much as I try to ignore the news, I can't. It keeps coming at me. It's creeping under the door. It's coming on the phone, and they're like, "You're in danger, girl." It was like they popping up like cream, girl.
Yeah.
You gonna die, girl. You gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Poland is getting ready. All these people are gearing up, and I don't. For some reason, he just wants to turn over the keys to our country, to China and Russia, and I don't know why. Like, and finally, and this is the tie-in. So, and finally, white people are trying to solve that because it's their problem. Like, if there's a world war and all this other stuff, this is the person that you chose. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
This is the person that you chose. And we don't have enough juice to do that kind of choosing. You know what I mean? And so I told a white bitch online today, I said, listen, talk to your sisters. Talk to your people. Because y'all chose them. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not donating, I ain't doing nothing. I'm going to take it to God. But the work on that level that because I can't do anything about the politics, I think it's the hopelessness that you can feel when something that gigantic happens or something that you cannot control. I.e., y'all tune to Patreon. I'll tell you, I failed 2 years ago at this point, and it has been a hard road back. So you ask yourself, God, why? Jesus, Lord, I already had some issues. Why do I have to take on this? Well, it becomes a part of the tapestry of your story. One, so you can, you know what I mean? But you still have to, with good reason, you want an understanding. And so telling my child this, some things in life you will never, ever, ever get the answer to.
Damn.
Right.
Right.
So,
and that's it. That's all.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And learning how to accept that is
painful
it's
too.
one of those things that spirituality is supposed to help you. Like, accept the fact that certain things you will not know.
And the prayer says it all. God help me accept the things I cannot change. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And give yourself the ability to move forward. If faith is supposed to give you anything, it's the ability to act even when it doesn't seem like, that it's rational to you.
Boy, let me tell you something. Them Pentecostal people, they gonna have everybody jumping over in hell. And I'm not jumping Pentecostals, but like if you don't believe that God made a therapist and you don't believe in the healing of mankind and the soul, we are in deep fucking doo-doo because we understand it. And Malcolm,
actively dissuade people from.
And we'll be honest with you. For one Wednesday, I finally understand your question. Sometimes you leave me thinking and struggling, but this is the Wednesday that I get it. Like, I understand your question. Like, what's beyond, once you tell yourself, I can handle it, or you put your big boy pants on, and now what? What happens?
Now
like,
what?
What do I do now? But I think
exactly.
You keep that same pace. It's hope and faith. Hope and faith. Thing that would get you across the bridge. Now, is it real? That's up to you. Now,
if it feels real, go with it. That's what I'm saying. Like if it's
sometimes the light at the end of the tunnel is a goddamn train, and you about to get hit. There's nothing that you can do about it. Life, if you are a religious person, life has been predetermined by what deity that you worship. So, if you believe in that thing, you just kind of gotta be. You have to live in your truth and be the best person in that thing that you can be. So, and that, my last point being is, it doesn't make you a good or bad person, but we really should try to do better by our fellow man. I used to be the king of mean. I am the villain in tons of people's stories. As I started to ask myself, why? I'm like, Greg, look how you talk to that dude. Or look how you talk to that woman. You just totally dismiss this bitch. You told her to kick rocks and die. Please.
and die? God damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you sit here wondering why your back hurts, your neck hurt, because it's simple. It's reciprocal. with the universe. So think about that when you're hollering in pain. Lord Jesus, why? Jesus, Lord, Bashu. When you're thinking about that, right? when you're thinking about those things and you're wondering why, and why can't anything I touch, I can't be successful. And so then I have to question myself: Am I a successful person in my personal life? Am I successful with my relationships with my loved ones? Does Thick know I'm playing when I say he got a big old country ass? And
yes, I know you're playing.
Okay, good. Hopefully he knows I'm not. I'm telling the truth, but thank you, Malcolm, for the time.
Yes. Let's see if we have any comments, and then I'm going to move on to the next one.
No, that's
no
fine.
comments.
Okay.
Oh.
A lot of people with no comments. They just want to hear what's.
I actually need to share the link on Facebook. I will do that in a second. So I got another one from this.
Please, good.
guy.
They're waiting. Somebody just hit me up. They're waiting.
Okay. So this one is a conversation about bare minimums in relationships. And they're talking specifically about texting and communication. I am so guilty of this one. And I have some questions that I'm going to pose to you guys.
Why?
What's that?
But you have a reason why.
I do. But at the end of the day, other people are not really interested in your reasons why. For the most part.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, because sometimes when we're talking about bare minimums, if someone can't meet your bare minimums, it doesn't really matter why they can't.
No, but in your case, there's a good reason why. So
there is. I'm just saying.
Pick the phone.
But if someone needs a certain amount of attention or reciprocation to feel wanted and cared about, understanding doesn't change the fact that they feel unloved.
You might need that motherfucker. Go ahead.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So here we go.
I'm reminded of an essay I came across called The Epidemic of Constant Communication. The gist is this girl is at a party and she's having a good time, and so eventually she goes home and she calls her long-distance boyfriend and tells her how much she missed him, and he suggests that she did not in fact miss him because she did not text him once the whole evening. And she responds that, well, she was carried away by the conversation. She was meeting new people, she was having a great time, she completely forgot that she had a phone. But still, in his mind, he felt as though she could have at least texted him once. He viewed her silence as neglect, and she could not see the relationship between the two. This could be one of those stories where we take sides. We could say that the boyfriend is being too needy or he's being too clingy, or we could say that she is being unappreciative of this man. If you truly care for someone, you would think of them over the course of a couple of hours to send them a simple text. So we could take sides, or we could not, because this to me is not really a story of blame. It's a story of bare minimums. The bare minimum is the least amount of love, care, and attention that you need to function, but it's also the most important. So it's the least, but it's also the most important in many ways. And I was struck by the way this was framed in the essay. He saw the silence as neglect. She could not see the connection between the two. This is a difference in bare minimums. I think one of the reasons bare minimums are so complicated is because they seem so basic. It's easy for us to think that everybody shares the same bare minimum. A good morning text, or a good night text, or making dinner every so often. Some of these things fall into the bare minimum category. These things exist in that weird, awkward realm where it feels as though you don't need to communicate them with your partner because everyone should know that these are just bare minimum things. But yet, as the internet has shown us as a generation on this app, the bare minimum is not universal at all and definitely needs to be communicated. This is an important question that we should probably start asking more bluntly when we meet people that we want to build something with. What is your bare minimum? And this is an important question and an important consideration in friendships as well, especially when it comes to the ever more controversial concept of texting. I want to tread very lightly here because that is true. Friendships, most relationships really are contractual in a way. There are things that are expected from your friends. There are things that might be a bit too much to ask of your friends. It is important to keep in mind the almost legalistic boundaries that exist in any relationship. Because if it feels exhausting to respond to your friends, if it feels as though whenever a friend texts you, you take it as them encroaching on your privacy, or you take it as them crossing a boundary, or you take it as them feeling as though they are entitled to your time, that feels wrong somehow. It is a friendship after all. As much as protecting one's boundaries is important, the question must be asked, what is the role of sacrifice in this framework? What is the role of sacrifice in friendships? What is the role of sacrifice in a world where we use a lot of language that is legalistic? Because let's say that you are the kind of person who gets very anxious in responding to texts, and let's say that your best friend is the kind of person that gets really anxious when they are left unread. What happens in this situation? Somebody has to sacrifice something in order to reduce the amount of anxiety that exists between the two of you. In a better world, if you both understood your boundaries, if you both understood your bare minimums, you'd be able to sacrifice more thoughtfully. So maybe person 1 in that scenario responds a bit faster every now and then, and person 2 doesn't text as often as they might like to, knowing that it causes person 1 anxieties. A part of morality involves something like sacrifice. But yet still there is so much anxiety, so much stress floating around out there. But I think our salvation is out there as well, and we can probably reach it together. It truly is ironic and very much a tragedy that the thing that just might save us, which is communication, is the thing that creates so much of the stress and anxiety within us.
Boy, that is an Alanis Morissette song waiting to be written. Isn't it ironic?
So I got some questions that I posed from here.
Well,
Basically, things that we consider bare minimums, and I think he makes a really good point about the fact that bare minimums are something that we expect other people to know, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, things are changing, especially with technology. I think there are certain bare minimums of like values that you should expect someone to care about, other people in certain ways. But like we do approach communication differently. We approach, the way that we take care of each other differently. And I think it's reasonable to have a conversation about like what boundaries you have, like where does it feel like you're being neglected,
but you also
you
have to
can't really change that for
please
the most part.
know, right? But you are correct. But please know that if you are out, you have the right to personhood. You know what I mean? You have the right to autonomy. Like, like if now I speak to everybody on this panel almost once daily. But if I don't think you're ignoring me. I don't think you are, except T'Challa.
T'Challa says, "I will not be ignored."
Not be ignored, right? That's the only person that and so you have to give your animals a little more attention. Seriously speaking, but it's like I think that is a problem with speaking of animals. You're just but it's the thing about it. Like I think the technology, as I surround myself with cameras and and laptops and doodads and hickey booms, I think it has created that stress.
Yeah.
I need to respond right now. I got to do this right now, and I think that why so many people suffer from anxiety, and they suffer from because I got to do it right now. Oh
Yeah.
No. Yeah, and I set the expectation with my employees. Listen, if you text me, I promise you, my automatic text goes out. I will get back to you within an hour. If it's an emergency, please call.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is this, like, and so what we were talking about before we went to the video about your situation.
Mm-hmm.
I forget that you're legally blind, and I will text you a book. I do, because I don't. That's not how I think of my friend of 20 years, and you think that would be the first thing in my mind. No, he's probably one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. And if I have something to say, I'm busy. I'm gonna text him, and I'm like, he can't see none of that. So then I have to just call. So I think I think what I'm trying to say is just set it and Swag in for me. Set the expectation. You know what I mean? If I normally get a text, hey, Boo Boo Shane, or something, that's what you should expect. You know what I mean? But, there should be a red flag if you did. You know what I mean? If I don't hear from you in a couple of
yeah.
Right. Well, I have a question. So
what's up?
You out at the Bear Bird Bar, Furry, whatever, wherever y'all go, and whatever y'all do.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever, you know what I mean? Plushy, sucky, bucky, whatever y'all do. I don't know.
What are you saying?
I don't know. You have to be, you got to kind of, y'all know thick in them streets. I don't know why y'all sitting on here like he go to man. He fried chicken on Mondays. Thick is in them streets, Malcolm. But anyway,
oh my God.
So my question.
Wait a minute. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of M3 and its affiliates. Okay, Greg, go ahead.
They are mine. I love them. They are mine. I own them. Bro, when you meet somebody, when you meet somebody, hey, Mr. Taylor, when you meet somebody, like, hey, and like, what is your preferred mode? You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm a texter. I'm not a texter. I'm a phone caller. Bat signals. You can most catch me. A dude told me one night when I first moved to Atlanta, yeah, just send me a message on Instagram. Well, nigga, what you give me your phone number for?
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay attention. So you set the expectation, right? Thick. You set the expectation, and you say, okay, well, and then so what becomes the problem? Like if they go outside of the expectation, or if you don't set the expectation.
I try not. Well, me personally, I don't care how you communicate, whether it's through text or phone call or video chat. Now my boundaries are don't video chat me out the blue because I will look at you like you're crazy.
African brothers, do you hear what he said? African brothers, do you hear?
I do not video chat me out the blue, especially if you're a stranger. Yeah, that's how you get blocked. But do not video chat me out the blue because I may be doing something, and I've told people that I'm doing something. Well, can we video chat? No, I am doing something. But I prefer video chatting. Well, sir, I can't help you right now. I'm doing something. But we can,
because they want to pull their meat out. That's all.
Yeah. But anyway, Greg. But no, I don't care. But my thing is choose one. I can't stand when people have your number or they have your social media, but when they jump on a different app, I'm like, why do y'all hit people up on different apps? I will never understand.
You have one on this, but why are you going? Yeah, I hate
like they'll send you a hey on Facebook, but then text you later on your phone. Hey, how was your day? You asked me this earlier on Facebook. It's the same.
And I answered you. My answer is not going to change because the platform has changed.
It's not just a bare minimum thing. It's the actual dialogue and the effort people take to communicate. If you ask me how was work at 5:30, don't ask me at 6:30 how was your day. It's the same fucking answer. It's the same answer. It's gonna be the same question.
Listen, y'all. Listen, curmudgeons. Something could have changed in your day,
Yeah, I understand that,
I feel you.
Right, but I mean, like, really think about it. But also, my thing is too, if you got something to say, I think people will ask what you doing like 5 times on the road just to get conversation going. Like,
right,
or they'll do the same thing over and over again. I'm like, if you got something to say that's on your mind, say it.
Malcolm, that does bring up a very good. Like, I need motherfuckers to take a casual conversation course. I'm gonna make one up and I'm gonna teach it.
Yeah,
like you have got to become better with conversational starter people, and it's a generational thing. You can tell how old somebody is with the sup, or if you think you DM sup.
Yeah.
Hey, for several degrees, you're not going to do that to me.
This is true. Yeah. I try my best to, ask leading questions to people, but then it does feel like I'm being intrusive to them, like getting really personal.
Well, you do have that DA spirit. You do have that district attorney spirit.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I do actually
have that I need to know spirit. Go ahead.
Yeah. I ask about people's interests, like what, because the truth is a lot of times people just will not want to answer a deep question right out of the way. But I'm just like, you can't say I didn't ask. So it's like, what is important to you? I don't, nothing's important to me. I don't find anything. Nothing.
And that right there is a red flag in itself. Nothing in the whole wide world, homie. Nothing. Just out here gang banging and popping it. You just doing.
Yeah.
Right. That is a problem.
So, but I was going to ask, I guess, anyone on the panel, have you ever had that misalignment of bare minimums, whether it be communication or otherwise, like where somebody had a unspoken expectation of your behavior that you were not meeting?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and most of the time it was me. It was like,
or you had the expectation?
No, they had it of me. And
okay.
Like, well, okay, but I called you yesterday. Well, we just met. So, and I called you yesterday.
Right.
But you didn't.
And that it's the same thing. I texted you yesterday. We just talked yesterday.
I just met you the day before that.
Right.
That was yesterday. Today's today.
Right. Or you'll get Hey,
That is it.
stranger. I'd be like, Negro, we talked 2 days ago. What you mean, stranger?
Now,
No,
if
what
it's 2 days, I completely
when you said that one, now the one that I hate is you're having a conversation with somebody, and then all of a sudden they just go silent on you. And then 6 months later, hey stranger, what's up? Hadn't heard from you in a while. Well, yeah, because the last time I texted you, you ain't said shit back.
Right.
Wait, that part.
I know you
Text
seen it.
you text back. I text you, you text back. If I text you and you don't respond, and I text you again and you don't respond, I figure you're done. And I'm not gonna
Right.
say anything more. Don't then
Exactly.
come up to me 6 months later talking about, well, I never did hear from you. Bitch, I texted you last. Look at the
I had to screenshot somebody our conversation to prove my point. Yes, I
Yeah.
have the receipts, Negro. Here, right here on the screen. I sent them to you.
and then you know what they say? Oh, well, I forgot to hit send. Bitch, bye.
That does happen sometimes.
Bitch, I ain't heard from you since June of 22, and now you're doing something. Hey,
Thank you. I haven't heard from you since
Oh god.
July of 2023, and now I forgot to hit send.
Right. I have been on unread since 2015, and then you want to come back up talking about, hey, stranger.
Oh god.
I'm
Yeah,
married
that's
with
good.
you. I have 4 kids at the age of 5.
If you do not carry your ass on and
Right.
get away from me,
Nigga, I've been
Yeah.
married, divorced, and got 4 kids and a new husband.
right? and then they'll ask, well, what's new with you? What's been going on? I'm like,
that's it.
why?
I start telling them. Right. I'll send
But you know-
screenshots of vacations with the new boo. Like,
Yeah.
Right. But you know what I also hate too?
Let me give you some 52-year-old wisdom. Let me tell you what happened. You didn't win the lottery prize, okay? So they made a choice of somebody else, okay? So
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right, it didn't work out. So now you boo-boo the consolation prize. You boo-boo the food.
Right.
They've been getting gangbanged for the last 12 months, right?
Gangbanged.
Railed. Absolutely railed.
Choo-choo!
Oh god.
Behind Zaxby's and all kinds of shit.
Not
Zaxby's.
Right. Right. It's just railed. Gang bang and prostituted, sold into black slavery. I don't know what the fuck.
Oh my
So
god.
that's
my
one of the black
goodness.
slavery. But
Right. Then one Saturday night, they're alone, right? And their hole is healed from all the railing. Right. Mr. Taylor, then they'd be like, I would like to date now. You know.
after they went out there,
Right.
after they went out there and sold their royal oats or done got their walls disintegrated, now they want to come back and date.
Then they went to Home Depot and bought new walls. So now it's
At Home Depot,
they had to get them rebuilt. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
now you back on the list, man, because you was nice. You know, he paid for the food. He was respectful, you know. So I'm gonna go on, you know. I'm gonna put on my church hat. They come to you like the church lady. God bless you. How you doing? How you been? Fool, if you don't get the fuck out, get on. Who is this?
Don't get out my face.
Or you be like, who this? You
Move
know.
on, who this?
Well, one time I answered the phone and I was like, hello? Hey, Greg, hold on for a minute. Hey, babe, can you bring me some mustard? Nobody else but me, right? Nobody. So he's like, oh, you busy? Yeah, baby. I tell you, I'm busy. Who this? Oh, I paid for your food and you didn't return my call. Oh, I hope all is well, but yeah. No, you go ahead now.
Oh god.
I think even though you set the expectation, life happens. You know what I mean? So, but to answer your question, to clarify, one should set the expectation. One should set the expectation. And to be clear, so in your case, Malcolm, please listen. I am sight challenged, so I may not honestly see your goddamn text message.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because I forget, bitch. I'll be like, type in a book, be like, hey, we need to do this. And you'd be like,
something else that comes up now. I'd listen to a lot of audio content.
okay.
And I don't like to get messages while I'm listening, so I put my.
But you do have to do not disturb on because I
put on do not disturb, and then
how about that? I get that do not disturb, bitch. I'm not.
Or just understand that people have things that they are doing. Like you can't always just stop everything you're doing to respond to a text. So I will respond. It won't be 5 weeks from now, but I will respond when I get a chance and just be patient. I think that's fair.
Exactly. It's just
to me, that's the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum. It's like I will respond, but don't expect a response like within 5 seconds.
Right. I think a lot of people make a lot of assumptions based on very little information.
They do.
Like when
they assume because they're not busy, you're not busy. Nah, bitch.
They gotta be like, you gonna see me calling. Fuck that nigga.
And then, so what if I'm not busy? Like maybe I don't want to talk to you right now.
Exactly.
And that's true.
It doesn't mean that I don't like you. I mean,
No,
just
exactly.
I know you are when you're dealing with you read the book. But I don't take it. I don't take it seriously because goddamn I don't know what you do. Especially if we just met. I particularly don't know what your job entails. I mean, you might be an ass wrangler. You know what I mean?
Right.
You might be the nigga that you might be a fluffer for porn films. Your mouth might be
right. you might be in the back room getting the strippers ready. Getting them.
You might
be in the back getting
real. Right.
Oh god.
But but my thing too is like when a person says, they'll come hang out with you or they'll come see you and then they don't show up, no call, no show. This is like a job, no call, no show. You get I may give you an olive branch and be like, okay, I understand life happens, but you need to communicate.
But no, you don't call back that day or that within some hours and say, hey, my car broke down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even shit like my bestie called and needed to see me. I mean, all human shit. You know what I mean? Or I was tired. I went to sleep. And I woke up, I ate some oodles and noodles and went back to sleep. That is feasible. That is humanly possible and feasible. Because, nigga, I have done it. If you've worked a job where you work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you trying to date on the sly, and you sit down, and when you sit down, you go out.
Right.
I mean,
truth be told, you don't have much control over that. Like,
right.
Conscious at one moment, and then you wake up 5 hours later, like, oh shit.
Right.
Yeah, but
your duty is to call home.
Right, that's true.
Like, and so I was living in New York, and my New York experience was for years. I lived in New York. I worked in New York and DC. I worked in both places. So, and I got home Wednesday nights from DC. And I'm trying to go to the club and get me a date, right? So one Wednesday, so I said, we'll have dinner. My little Jewish friend, we'll have dinner after I get off the train. But it's better if you just go ahead and meet me in Times Square while I'm down there. Oh no, go home, kick your shoes off. Now this is gonna be a problem. I take motherfucking shoes off my motherfucking feet. It's over.
I'm in the house. Yeah.
Right. So dude, I woke up the next morning, I don't know, 4 or 5. And I texted him like at 7. I was like, yo, I'm so sorry. Like, I fell asleep. All men are the same. Oh my God. Men are just, you got the awful. I was like, well, I'm sorry? Just awful. Like you're just lying like my father. I said, you need to see a therapist. You got it.
Right. Red flags. I'm telling you. Red flags.
Come here. Come here with that bullshit.
I was about to say, look, we need a sound for red flags or something. A buzzer works for now, but we need a.
Where's that buzzer?
That is definitely.
So pull the list back up. Let's pull some other things up.
Yeah, there were questions that
because I seen a couple. Like number 7 is troubling.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7. Have you ever felt guilty for needing more communication than someone else wanted to give? How did you navigate that feeling? Never. ever.
You never felt guilty.
Never. No. That is on them. You know what I mean? I've learned.
Well, I won't say it's necessarily on them, but it's just your communication styles are just incompatible.
Correct.
You know, it's not their fault and it's not your fault. It's like some people do need that constant stroking of the ego and the constant like replying every 5 seconds. And some people like,
yeah.
if I respond, 5 hours, they'll be all right.
Right.
Yeah, I feel you on that though. You're right that you shouldn't have to feel guilty about that.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What is this, John? Come on up here. Let me spank your hand. Oh my God,
I'm sorry. I was a no call, no show. I fell asleep after work. So
I love you, man, Mr. Taylor. I think you should let your partner know what your bare minimums are without demanding it from them personally. I don't require people to text me back right away. People do have lives and they do take nerve. I get it. A friend of mine got angry and I picked up the phone. He left me a nasty message, and I called him and told him we ain't fucking. What the fuck?
Huh?
Right.
Oh.
The hand that feeds me is the hand that rocks the cradle. Just kidding. Thank you, Mr.
We're not in a relationship. What is your problem?
Right. What is your problem?
Yeah, dude. Like,
and even if we were, what is the problem?
If they not providing one of the 3 F's, they get bare minimal attention. And we do know what the 3 F's are, right?
Feeding, fucking, and financing.
Correct.
Like if you're not feeding me, fucking me, or financing me, why are you so worried? Why you all about my business?
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next one. I'm going to finish up our conversation about the let them theory, and this is one video that I got from TikTok that kind of got me thinking about the idea of comparison. There's a famous quote, I forget who it's attributed to, that says that comparison is the thief of joy, and she has like a chapter in this book about negative comparison, especially when it comes to things like social media. She had a really funny chapter about a friend of hers who was a interior designer, and she goes online and she sees that a friend of hers, someone who she had done work for, like she had done interior design for her house, started posting that she is now an interior designer, and she was posting pictures of her house as proof of her qualifications to be an interior designer. So that's my work. That's my work on her house. It's like, but yeah, it is still her house. You can post pictures of her house and advertise about being an interior designer.
I would put at the bottom. I said, yeah, but it's my work.
It is her work. It is. But what was interesting in the book, what she was talking about, was why she was mad. I'm going to talk about that a little bit after I play this other video where, what we see online in comparison doesn't always have to be the thief of joy.
Just read something that I absolutely love from Come Together. So the author Emily Nagoski thinks that the phrase comparison is the thief of joy is wrong. And I think this is a really interesting point. She says comparison is neutral or even good. Comparison can be neutral noticing, she writes. Children compare their body parts out of curiosity. It's healthy and normal to want to learn about what's true. Curious comparison is no thief. Indeed, it can enhance joy. So she says the part about comparison that is often the thief of joy is the judgment. When you compare and merely notice similarities and differences, you can enhance your understanding of what's true about you and the rest of the world, which increases your confidence. When you compare with positive curiosity, you can even enhance your love of what's true, which increases joy. But when you compare not just to notice similarities and differences, but to assess and decide what is good and what is bad, who is right and who is wrong, that is the opposite of loving what is true. Judgment is deciding that some of the things that are true are bad and wrong and unworthy of equal existence. Judgment is the anti-joy. And I really love this. I love the idea that comparing ourselves to others can be neutral or can even spark a curiosity about ourselves. So if we can see what other people have or what they're doing, what they're wearing, how they look, and just say, that's sparking my curiosity. That is very different from looking at all that stuff and being like, I don't have that. I don't look like that. I am not that.
So like one of the things she makes in the book about comparison being the thief of joy in the Let Them theory was when someone has something else that you want, you have a choice to either say like they didn't get that properly, you know, they're not really good at this, like she was talking about, like she's not really an interior designer, or you can look back as to why is this making you upset. And ultimately what she discovered in herself was like she realized that she's not advertising her work the way that she wished she was, right? Like she was afraid to post her things online. In fact, you know, one of the things that made her mad was like she could have posted the pictures of this woman's house herself on her page and been advertising her interior design, you know, prowess. Yeah, that would have kept her from using her stuff. And there was a certain point in which it's like the reason she's mad is because this woman is doing things that she knows she wants to do.
I don't know. She kind of stole her work, even though it's her house.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm not saying that she didn't have rights to be mad. But I'm just saying that there is a reason sometimes behind, you know, people being mad. So taking that away from the book, one of the reasons I brought this up also is that, you know, when I was reading this book, I was reading this with someone and, you know, they had a really strong reaction to this chapter about comparison and jealousy and things like that. Like, you know, for the rest of the book, they were all on board with it. But when it came to this, it triggered something in someone. And I think what's interesting is that the whole chapter is about being triggered. And I think there's a point at which this is something that can be difficult to accept, that we get triggered by other people getting attention that we don't feel like they deserve, especially if you feel like it's something that you could do better. You know, if you feel like, you know, someone is not skilled at something, or they're getting attention for, I don't know, let's say, I'll give you an example. One that I thought about once was like a YouTube channel that has like 1 million followers, and all they do is show slime, you know. They mix gooey things and they go,
what?
Mm-mm.
now I don't want to do that. I'm just saying, like, part of me could be mad at that. But it's just like, we started this channel just 3 months ago and we almost have 1 million followers making gooey, colorful slime.
What?
Wow.
Mind you, I downloaded one.
I mean, people do all kinds of things.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
do. But what she was kind of getting at is that there is comparison that can be neutral. There can be comparison that is positive. And I think that's what I got from the book, is that sometimes if you feel jealous or some kind of way, because people don't want to use the word jealousy, but let's just say you have a negative emotional reaction to something someone else is doing online or something they're doing in real life, there's a learning opportunity there. And the learning opportunity is probably like an indictment of yourself, that like, hey, I could have been doing that, you know?
right?
I would say, for instance, I saw someone else doing a page of like AI muscle dudes, you know, to promote their channel. You know, one of those things. I was like, you know what, I know how to do that. I could do it. I could be making these posts. I was at first making these sort of like, you know, rolling my eyes gestures about it, but I was like, yeah, I could do that. I don't know if I want to, but I just now I think I take a step back, and I think jealousy can be an opportunity for growth in yourself, because it's not going to trigger anything in you unless there's something in yourself that there's a value that matters to you, right? Because a lot of times, you know, that's the whole idea of rage bait. It's like they got you because it's something you care about, you know. So anyway, that's all.
Like when people say things about Beyonce and it triggers her fans,
Mm-hmm.
and they go on tangents and rants.
Yeah,
and
they got to really see something about that. I think same thing with like Apple people, Rihanna fans, pretty much any pop diva fan. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
Except Katy Perry.
Oh, Katy Perry.
Yeah. Right now, Katy Perry,
they are dragging her online right now.
I did see a video of her and she had some sort of dance. I was like, wow, that's just not good. I didn't know. That is objectively horrible. Oh my god.
She had a concert the same night Beyonce did in LA.
Oh god.
Terrible.
I did not know how bad it was. I mean, because I like some of her recordings or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I like a couple of I like a few Katy Perry songs, you know.
Yeah.
Like one of them actually makes me feel inspirational, but
Yeah.
right now she's just getting dragged. And I'm like, what are you doing, girl?
These performances are bad.
That one I saw where they turned on people, but she looked so stiff, and I'm like, what is you doing? What are you doing?
Like, it feels like I got money. I can take your money, I guess.
And people were cheering too. I'm just like, y'all like this? Okay.
It did feel like a grift almost. It was like you're not even trying.
Somebody online said she need to go back to being an astronaut.
It's like maybe that's the point. So maybe I'm missing the point as an artist. That
oh my god,
the point is like I'm doing the bare minimum.
Oh my god! And while we're talking about Katy Perry, so I saw a video. I saw a video from like her tour. Apparently, she does this set where she's dancing in like a bathroom, and they have like a giant toilet on the stage, and there's like a piece of poo sticking out, and she's singing to it. Somebody said, "Is this like a joke from South Park? Like, is this supposed to be Mr. Hanky? What the fuck is she doing?"
What do you mean?
It is really weird. Really
I will post it I'll find it and I'll post it so y'all can see it. It's just like like, what is she doing?
Like it's intentionally bad.
Girl, I need wait. We need a girl.
Right.
Girl.
Yeah. But beyond that, I'm going to move on to the next book, though, since this was we were talking about Let Them Theory. I have a book for next month. It is going to be Gessie. Yeah, I think it's her name. Gessie's Homegoing. I read this book about a couple months ago, and it is the story of two sisters in Africa and their descendants. It's very much like a spiritual sequel or something to like the Color Purple. It feels very much like that, where you're getting this, the story of these two sisters and their descendants. So it starts with the two of them and then their descendants, and it goes like 7 generations into like, I mean, I'm not gonna like tell exactly what happens, but you just start to see the patterns in people's behaviors, sort of learning from people's mistakes and sort of the repercussions of those mistakes over generations. And for myself, like it feels like one of those things where if I was thinking of a spiritual practice myself, one of the things I think about is imagining the fact that my ancestors survived so much for me to be here, that I can deal with whatever trauma or difficulties that I have to deal with. Like this book is one of those go-to things that sparks that sort of imagination. So hope that you'll read it with me. I'm pretty sure like each individual chapter is a story of a different person. So there's a lot of characters to go through. There may be something in particular that we want to bring out and discuss in the month of May. But I have that for our patrons. If you're interested in becoming a patron, I have that book for you in the Telegram group. It's waiting for you. I have some other books as well because it took me a while to come up with a choice. But yeah, that'll be our book for May. Moving on, though, I got a topic about. We were talking a little bit about like differences in things that were going online. We were talking a little bit about communication and some of the things that were happening with what was it? When someone asks for your Instagram or different apps to communicate with one another. And I don't know if you know that there's a antitrust lawsuit going on with Meta right now. It's possible that they could lose their suit and lose Instagram as an app. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out in the trial, and I was going to talk a little bit about that. This one was about Facebook, but there's some other stuff I'm going to talk about.
Mark Zuckerberg pitched the idea of deleting everyone's Facebook friends and basically having everyone start over with a fresh graph, a fresh slate of Facebook friends. Did it ever get close to fruition, and why is it coming up in the context of the antitrust trial?
The idea was that people weren't using Facebook as much as they used to, I would imagine, particularly in the United States. And so Mark Zuckerberg floats the idea, why don't we just delete everyone's friends list and make them start over?
And the idea was that this would make it feel cooler and more interesting if, like, you weren't just hearing from a bunch of people you added 12 years ago and never talked to again?
Well, that's the thing, is that I think one reason why Facebook started to feel stale was that you had built this network of people that was just sort of like everyone you'd ever made eye contact with. And so it was a pretty boring thing to browse because you didn't actually care about a lot of the people you were seeing there. So what if you just had to start over and say, like, actually, like, I only care about these 20 people?
Yeah, I actually think this is a great idea.
Me too!
But why didn't it happen?
Well, the head of Facebook, Tom Allison, apparently replied that he wasn't sure the idea was, quote, viable given my understanding of how vital the friend use case is, which, like, this is a man who is trying to say as delicately as possible to his boss, one of the world's richest men, you are out of your freaking mind. Tom Allison is like, my understanding of Facebook is that it's important that your friends list exists because that's actually the entire point of Facebook. But obviously you're the boss, but I just kind of want to point that out.
Yes.
And so the idea doesn't get followed up on.
So they were kind of pointing this out, that they understood that Instagram as a purchase was probably a little too much. And I'm surprised that the antitrust suit is going on, even though, you know, like, Trump is totally not a person who cares about antitrust stuff. But I think he's probably allowing it to go forward just because maybe he can get a deal after the verdict goes through. But there's also an antitrust deal going on with Google right now that they're likely to spin off Chrome browser, and I think Microsoft is thinking about buying it, which is kind of funny. Acknowledging how bad Edge is, they might just buy Chrome from Google. But anyway, but yeah, so that was one thing, was that a crazy idea that Facebook was going to delete everyone's friends. This was back, I think, in 2019. And mainly it's because of the way that Facebook, like they said, has become stale. What's interesting, though, is how people use Instagram. And this is not something that I realized. So as much as Instagram is a social media platform, it is actually much more of a messaging app. Something like 87% of the traffic on Instagram is in stories and DMs. So whatever you see in your timeline is only about 20% of what is actually happening on Instagram, which is surprising to me because that's basically where I live on Instagram. I don't really go into stories.
Is that true for you, John?
What?
It's just a messaging app.
I'd use it for what I want to use it for. Sometimes for messaging, sometimes for
Thirst trapping.
posting news. Shut up. Sometimes for keeping up with people. So,
but yeah, apparently with Gen Z or whatever the letter is, the young folks are using it as a messaging app, and mostly either that or stories. Like the vast majority of their posts are in stories and not on their page.
Yeah,
which is
short videos. Yeah.
They do like spreading news through stories because they're always saying, like, oh, did you see so and so story? Did you see what they said? So
yeah, and so seeing what was happening on Instagram and how popular it is, it should be noted that Instagram just launched a new app called Instagram Edits, and it immediately became the most popular iOS app, like immediately. Like, you know, I forget the numbers, but it was, you know, Instagram has like a very, very active base, And so the idea of them losing Instagram is a problem for Meta, as a company, because it has definitely overtaken Facebook as,
What's wrong, John?
I'm just wondering why people are paying money for this Katy Perry stuff. I'm looking at clips from the tour. She's literally having a Star Wars lightsaber fight with Darth Maul. What the hell?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
been to
so
space,
corny.
so that also because
It's bad. It's bad.
And she looks stiff as a board.
also,
I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
Also, this Sunday is May the 4th be with you. So
Oh,
I think it
God.
might be because of that as well.
Oh,
But
yeah,
remember, she's
Well,
been
it says I read something where it says her tour is based on video games.
yeah.
So that's how space. But it's
Yeah.
a fail, boo. It's a fail.
It's a fail. It's not even close to being a success.
Wow.
I mean, she's gonna make money because she's Katy Perry. I mean, I
Right,
guess-
her name alone is going to do that. But
She
yeah,
might be in the hole because of ticket sales.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's really bad. I mean,
Ooh.
Speaking of that, why are they just dogging all black people? So now the internet has a story going around. Beyonce ain't selling out. It's got missing seats in the auditorium. Ryan Coogler, well, the show is sold out. What
Because everybody don't want to see the country part of her.
No, that's not it.
not everyone who buys seats shows up. I mean,
Right.
that's just-
And the other part is she made them find more seats and she released more tickets.
Right.
And so she had like 200 seats left. And so that's still sold out. But it's the same thing with Ryan Coogler. They released this thing, Sinners needs to prove itself. Now it's up over 400 million. Does it still need to prove itself?
Nope,
What is black people bashing?
But not only that, is it succeeding, financially? It is also one of the highest rated movies come out in years. And I remember on like Cinema Blend, like where people rate their favorite movies, it's already in the top 100 movies of all time. It's only been out 3 weeks, so I mean, like, come on.
Beyonce, what's she gonna do? Get her money?
Yeah.
I mean, and
Oprah and Tyler Perry, them motherfuckers shaking their ass, and I saw a full auditorium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it did look good too. I'll give her that. It's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, I don't know. I ain't about.
I'm not a huge country fan myself. So.
I am, but it's not really country.
I like country music, but I listened to Beyonce's album. It was a C for me.
Yeah, there were a few hits, but yeah.
Now, it's an A for me because it's right down my lane. You know what I mean? But I'm sick of this black people bashing. You know what I mean?
Me too. Like,
yeah,
it's more. It's less about Beyonce and more about goddamn. Katy Perry out here to shit. Literally. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody doing pieces on her tour is failing. Why she got fired from American Idol because she was America's most hated. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah,
she was America's most hated. She got fired. I didn't know that. I thought she quit.
No, she got fired.
If anybody wants to see that video, I just posted it in the VIP group.
Oh no! Oh god!
And I just don't understand. It's cute. Beyonce got little kids up there and shit. And then white people tell me something. Is Rumi Carter on the spectrum? Why that baby got to be on the spectrum? Because she hugging her mama. I was like, y'all doing too much.
Yeah, that is part of just being in the spotlight. That people make assumptions, but
I'm just tired of people doing dumb shit for attention.
Do you have any comments or questions? We're gonna probably go on to Patreon.
Sammy.
Of course. Do you think Trump is gonna celebrate Cinco de Mayo again with some Taco Bell?
You know what? I wish we could do. I wish we could sell Trump to the Mexican cartel.
Oh god.
No.
Yeah. That is really sad, but yeah, we're gonna go to Patreon in just a little bit. Really appreciate everyone who supports us on Patreon. I'll have a topic for patrons only, but also, like I said, For our patrons, we got the Yagessi's homegoing. We're gonna be reading that in May. You got adult content. We got a group that chat. We even have a Discord server. We don't know how to use it, but one day we might. I don't know.
Wow.
I've given up completely, so I'm out.
Well, I mean, one of the things you can do on Discord, if there is something live that we want to watch, I think there's a way to live stream, view stuff together. I don't know how to do it though, but we'll figure it out.
There's live chat on there. Yeah, we could do that too.
Yeah. We might work it out. Who knows? But before we go, of course, I like to have some fun videos that we can watch together. The internet was based on fun videos. Here we go.
We are starting out.
Okay, well,
He cut his hair.
Yeah, that's that dude. Yeah. This is so cute. It's like cute overload.
You see that, T'Challa?
Professora Marisa, estamos em Hong Kong, maluco!
600 metros, continue em frente para permanecer na Marginal Pinheiros.
Sai fora, mentirosa!
I'm good at this time! Oh my God!
What the? Get a room. Nah, keep going. That shit hot. They must have just met off of Sniffies. I know that kids taste like Doritos, Flaming Hots, Backwoods, Don Julio, Astro Glad, a little bit of Monos. That's hot.
No, a little bit of Mono. Why am I talking about pretty?
Well, I'm your bread maker, baby, and you can roll my dough.
Don't mess with these bears. You see the claws on that bear? That bear will tear you apart.
What are you doing? Look at those sweet little bitches,
what the?
啊，坐下吧，照个相，别动啊。
You got a butterfly beat that like another video. Sorry.
Ooh, okay.
It's food eating food.
Oh wow.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay, Sheba Sheree got Hoochie Daddy shorts for the glory hole. And it come with platinum wet lube too. This is genius.
Oh my god.
Zipper in the back.
Okay.
Okay, he didn't take all that.
Huggy feely.
Oh, that's a
Huggy
pretty
touchy
snake.
feely.
I had never seen a blue python.
Wow, that's beautiful.
But you got no confidence like me. Really wanna run around and chase me. I'm not no Travis, baby, not no chase me. I work too hard, can you fucking pay me? I did so much, you did it with me, and I'm not alone. Since 2019, was business with me, I'm set it in stone.
Was a white broad somewhere.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear,
You look just like your
how
mama.
much I love you.
Oh,
Please
wow.
don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
You must die.
Yeah.
I would expect from a cat before I said from a dog, but okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think there was a cat version of that. But, yeah.
I'm sure there is somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. That brings us to the end of the show, but we will be going to Patreon in a second, of course. Come back to join us on Saturday at 1 p.m. for the Saturday sit down.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. It's a child allegedly.
Right, you gotta
Of course. On Sunday at 5 p.m. Join Devon and the gang for the Blurred Council.
Go see Thunderbolts.
Yes.
I have my ticket for tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It does look good. And then we will also, I think you'll be sitting in for Greg on Monday.
Yes, I'll be sitting in for Greg on Monday. I have to skip my gym time for Greg. Okay. I have to go earlier.
What time do you want to go to the gym? Because we could work it out. I mean,
No. I'm joking. I'm going to the gym early in the day. So because ain't many people gonna be there, and all the machines will be open. So
yeah, because we moved it to 3. And
yeah. Okay.
Eat pancakes on the treadmill. I mean,
yes, and of course on Tuesday at 7 p.m. the Swag Suite will bring you all the trending topics, the things that are going on, and obviously enjoy the Swag Suite every Tuesday. And of course, follow John on social media at the Double J Chronicles and John J on Facebook. We'll be going to Patreon in just a second. Thank you for joining us. Let me make sure I hit the right buttons, and we'll see you in a little bit.